home. Remember the good days. I wish that we could go back. I know I'm not perfect, but at least give me a try. I'm sorry for making you feel like you're not good enough, 'cause you're the best, you know. I'm sorry for making you feel like you're not good.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for dropping by here on the podcast. Glad to see some of you coming in. What's up, Michael? Is it Rez Gaming? What's up, Hooligan Danny? Boss Lady? So we'll give it a minute here and see if some more folks show up. Maybe we'll get things rolling for you guys. What's up, Mixfant? So I'm going to be doing things just a little bit different today for the podcast. Normally we have Eddie here, Islander, but unfortunately he had some things happen and come up, and he is not going to make it today. I'm not going to get into the reasons for that, but you know, if he wants it to be public, he'll let y'all know. But anyway, certainly going to miss him on the show today. So I decided I would kind of do things a little bit different since I have the opportunity here. And today's podcast is going to be open forum, something that we want to do at least once a month, just to kind of throw it out there and let you guys, the viewers, all pretty much decide as the podcast develops what you want to talk about. What's up, Inner Tubin? How do you reach out to Pixonic? The easiest and best way to reach out to Pixonic is use the in-game help menu. There is an area in there for you to provide feedback to them, and that is the best way for them to see it. What's up, Sean? Okay, so as I said, unfortunately Eddie is not going to be with us today on the podcast, so what I am going to do instead, I am going to invite 2 viewers to actually join me on the podcast. Now, there's a caveat to that. Okay, 1, you have to join my channel Discord because that's where I broadcast from. So if you are not yet a member of the channel Discord, there is a link in the video description, and the bot should broadcast it here shortly if it hasn't already. But anyway, I also want you to be at least 18 years of age, because you know I'm broadcasting your voice, and I just don't want any issues with that. And the other thing is, I would like at least 1 person from iOS and 1 person from Android to join me, and we will discuss the various topics that come up in the chat, and we'll just see how this works. I used to have regular members of the community on the show way back in the day when I first started the podcast, but you know, things changed and it kind of developed over time, and it's primarily me and Islander now. But like I said, with Islander not being on the show today, I figured I would go ahead and do a little bit of a throwback here and let you guys from the community itself actually be on the show. But anyway, so if you are interested in joining me for the discussion, like I said, be 18 years or older. You will have to join my Discord channel, and I will have to get you quick access to get into the same comms channel that I'm on and I'm broadcasting from. But if you are interested in doing that, let me know in the chat now what platform you're on, and I will just randomly select 2 people, and you guys can jump on the podcast with me. Hey, what's up, Turbo and Grizz? What's up, Anthony? Yeah, I know not everybody has Discord, but like I said, if you guys are interested, put your platform in the chat, because this is something I think would be kind of cool. And I don't know, maybe it could be something that you guys would enjoy doing as well. And what's up, Bradley? All right, looks like we've got Michael volunteering from Android. Go ahead and jump on the Discord there, Michael, and we'll try and pull somebody up from iOS at least and join us. Easiest way to do it, Michael, is just get onto the Discord. You will want to silence the YouTube. I mean, you still want to have it up so you can read the questions and whatnot in the chat, but you will want to have it kind of silenced so it doesn't reverberate through your microphone. And then jump into one of the comms channels here on my Discord, and I will pull you into the live channel. Like I said, looking for one more person to join us, preferably somebody from iOS. Hey, what's up, Michael?
Hello.
Hello. So we got Michael in the channel now. Hey, what's up, Gentle? What's up, Lone Spanker? What's up, Juan David? How you doing? Gentle is on iOS. Okay, well, if you are interested, Gentle, in being a guest on the show today, go ahead and jump on my Discord, and I will try and get you set up so that you can join us here in the live channel for today. So just jump into one of the regular comms channels, and if I have to, I will pull you in. What's up, Rogue Dog? Hey, Kine. What's up, man? Did I go to the test server this weekend and check out the new factory map? I did briefly. I figured that would probably come up in the discussion today. Alright, so we are just going to be waiting for Gentle. Oh, never mind, he can't. He's at work. Alright, somebody else from iOS. I want an iOS player here on the show. And then we will get things rolling. And while we're waiting, looks like I've got like quite a few viewers, but only 8 likes on the podcast. Come on, guys, hit that like button. Pranjit has an iOS account. Yeah, but Pranjit isn't here right now. Alright, well, I'm going to give it like 2 more minutes, and if I don't get somebody from iOS, then I'm just going to say iOS is asked out on voicing their opinions. I don't want to be the only one from iOS to voice my opinion. Y'all hear from me every week. So, like I said, last chance, if you guys are interested in joining the podcast and actually being on right now, last chance, I'm looking for somebody from iOS. So, post in the chat, and then we will get going. I don't want to spend too much time trying to find a person, because that kind of defeats the whole purpose of doing this. How do you counter the Dragoon Ao Ming? I actually put out a video on how to do that on a budget. I think I put that out just a few days ago. But basically, you just want something that can lay down a lot of damage outside of 600 meters. What's up, BBX? Frostbite. Alright, last call for an iOS person, guys. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Kind. Where's all the iOS folks? I know there's people from iOS watching the stream right now. It's not every day you get invited to actually be on the show. Except Guild Inc., Firebird. Streamlabs bot just kicked the Guild Inc. Sorry about that. Too many emojis, I guess. Okay, so we'll just move on. Unfortunately, no rep from iOS wants to step forward, so your loss. That sucks. But I guess it's going to be the Michael and Chief show today. Anyway, let's go ahead and get things started, Michael. I know you are an extremely opinionated player. I know that because you've been around my channel for quite a long time. So be kind of interesting to see your take on some of these things. So let's go ahead and jump into the podcast mode here, and we will let you go ahead, just give a quick bio or description of your background, how long you've been playing. Obviously you're on Android.
Yeah. Well, I'm Michael Thompson. I have been playing since September of 2018, and I am an adamant T-Falcon user.
Yes, he is the resident T-Falcon expert. Are you still running 5 T-Falcons, or did you cut that back?
Yeah, I run 5 T-Falcons.
That's a little boring for some, but if it's your thing, it's your thing, you know. I know you really like pushing it, and it can be very effective. So I'm glad that you are sticking to your guns on that. But anyway,
for a while.
All right, you are kind of breaking up just a little bit. Let me know in chat if you guys are having a hard time hearing Michael when he's talking. Hopefully it's good. I think it might be just a little bit of a connection issue, but anyway, so I guess we'll just kind of throw some things out there real quick with you know, the merger's about to happen, which is really why I wanted to have an iOS person in here too with us. But you know, you're an Android player, and you know, it's just good to get different perspectives, especially because right now we are separate, but eventually we're all going to be one, and hopefully that will be coming next week. What's one thing that you're really looking forward to, Michael, as far as the merger?
Well, I'm looking forward to facing a whole lot of the other YouTubers that are out there.
You're looking forward to facing the YouTubers?
Yeah, also the top fans of iOS.
Well, be careful what you ask for. But no, actually, I think Android actually has more YouTubers than iOS right now. But it's always a fun time to run into subscribers, you know, when I'm out playing. But so, you know, do you think you know, I mean, it's pretty much coming to the end of the time frame that they gave for the merger to happen. We've got what, 8 days technically still in February, or no? How many days are left in February? 7 days? 6 days. Okay, so 6 days left. Or Is this a leap year? I don't know.
Yeah, 9 days.
All right, you are. Maybe it's just me that I can not really hear you too well. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it's like maybe 6 days left in February. So they did say the end of February, beginning of March is when the update is going to hit. So I'm really hoping that it hits next week. But one thing that I think they're going to run into is something that they've never been able to get right so far, and that is giving iOS and Android the update on the same day. I think that's going to cause a lot of problems, especially on a merger, if you have half of your population getting an update and the other half not. I don't know how that's going to work. You think that's going to be causing any problems there?
Yeah, that, and there's going to be a whole lot of lag, I'm sure.
You think there's actually going to be a lot of lag?
Yeah, a lot more lag.
Why do you say that?
Because when you combine two different things like iOS and Android, there's always going to be a whole lot more lag because of the connection issues.
Because of what?
Connection issues and such.
Oh. See, I actually think that we might see a decrease in lag because the server population from Android will get a little bit lighter because some of those players will then be playing on what was previously the iOS servers. I'm assuming that's how it's going to work anyway.
Well, you're also got to think of the coders and everything. They don't seem to be all that great and everything, and tackling the problem connections and everything.
Right. I guess maybe that's possible, but hopefully there won't be much lag. Plus, you know, they're also getting rid of that old economy stuff, and that should decrease a lot of lag too, because as it stands right now, I would imagine at least a portion of the lag people experience is because of those different economies. It has to send twice as much data going out to the servers to determine what era of weapon each player is using. You know what I'm saying? So going to just you know, one economy as far as robots and weapons goes should decrease that data transfer.
Well, hopefully it does.
All right. What language is Michael speaking? Morse code. Yeah, I think he might have a bad connection there, but we'll go with it, and hopefully it will clear up just a bit. What's up, Pranjit? Yeah, no Islander today, guys. Like I said, he had something unexpected come up out of his control, and you know, I'll leave that to him to share it with you if that's something he wants to do. But in the meantime, I've got Michael here from Android. I don't even. Are you in a clan over there in Android, Michael?
No, I'm not.
You're not? Oh, okay, you're like me. You're running solo.
Oh, I am in a clan. It's not very active.
Oh, okay. Well, then, not quite solo. Yeah, that's right, Grizz. It should be new code, so hopefully it won't be as laggy. I think they are trying to prevent the lag as far as the merger, and I know they had to rewrite all the code just to make the merger happen. So even if there was a little bit of lag introduced because of the decoding and coding issues to make the two people play together, you know, iOS and Android, hopefully that will be much less than what it is with the old economy, new economy, and separate servers. So we'll see. Michael from Android sounds like Jason from tech support. All right. So anyway, this is, guys, for those of you in the chat, this is the open forum. So start throwing questions in the chat, and we will do our best to go over them, share our thoughts or opinions on them. We like to do these open forums, usually me and Islander, once a month, just because, you know, we don't always know what is on your mind. So this is your opportunity to kind of throw some things out there. And I do see a couple of people talking about clans and inactive players, officers, and that's kind of a good topic to go over, because with the merger coming, that's going to kind of open up the door, not initially because we're not going to be able to communicate in game, we're not going to be able to squad together in game, we're not going to be able to join the same clans yet, but eventually we will. So I think you are going to see a big decrease in the number of inactive clans, and you should have a much better chance of finding those active players, and there's probably going to be quite a few clans that actually get rejuvenated. I mean, is that something you've been looking forward to, Michael, or have you even thought of that?
Yeah, actually, I can't wait for the merger to happen so that the clans get merged players.
Man, you are so broken up right now. It's so hard to understand what you're saying. Not trying to be an ass, just I don't know if you're just getting poor reception or something there, or maybe if you drop the channel, maybe reconnect. Sometimes Discord is a little finicky and you get kind of a bad connection to start with.
All right, well, hold on a second.
Okay.
All right, is that better?
We'll find out. But yeah, I think in the long run, the merger is going to help clans in general with being able to recruit a more active player pool. But like I said, it's not going to happen right away. So for folks that maybe are not keeping up on all the news, you know, this is going to be a delayed process. The first step is just getting us to actually be in a match together, and that is what we are hoping comes next week. And then sometime by the end of the year, is all they've said, we will actually get all of the other interactive functionality between the different platforms. See, do we think that once the merger happens, we could have a Discord channel tournament for the channel members? I don't know, maybe. We're looking probably 6-9 months away for something like that, though, because we have to have all that extra functionality in the game. And Lousy was asking, any guess on when the bottleneck on Platinum will open up? And I do think that they kind of addressed this a little bit on the last dev stream, and basically said, don't hold your breath. They are currently not planning on putting Platinum anywhere else in the game, but they are open to it. They are waiting on their data, I guess.
No, that's going to take forever.
Yeah, it always seems that that they do like to collect their data, and it does take them quite a long time for them to do that. What's up, Becky? So what other topics do you guys want to talk about? I don't want to make this all about the merger, even though I think that really is at the forefront of everything. Oh, you know, somebody asked about the new map. So the new map did hit the test server this weekend. Hell, I don't even remember the name of it right now. But anyway, new map.
Factory.
What's it called?
The factory.
Yeah, okay, the factory. It doesn't look like a factory to me, but it's called Factory. And I did briefly get on the test server. I've seen quite a few videos of other people that were on the test server, and I think it's actually going to be a pretty good map. Have you had a chance to check it out, Michael?
I haven't had a chance to watch any of the videos yet. No.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said I haven't been able to check out any of the videos yet.
Oh, okay. But I mean, it's not like as long as like Yamantau, but it is a big map. But it is not necessarily going to be like a long range map because there is a lot of cover built into the map, which I think is good. I think it's going to be a good mix of cover to allow brawlers to still really do well on the map, and then it does have that really wide setting so that if you are playing some mid or long range robots or weapons, you'll be able to take advantage of that. But overall, so far, at least when I tested it out, it did seem like a fairly balanced map as far as that goes, because I mean, y'all know how I feel about Yamantau. I hate it. Very poorly designed, kind of like Springfield, just a very poorly designed map. But this one does seem like it is going to be a good addition to the game so far. Yeah, you're right, Jess Garcia. It does look a lot more like a scrapyard or a junkyard, especially with all that green corrosive acid that's everywhere.
My T-Falcons won't do good there.
No? Why not?
Because of the corrosive acid.
Well, just don't get in the corrosive acid. I mean, does your T-Falcon fall over the side in Carrier? You should be good. Actually, that did happen to me on stream. Friday night, I think it was. Yeah. I actually went over the side with my Aljun on Carrier. Haven't done that in a long time.
Gotta watch your step.
What's up, Wizard?
It's happened to me on Castle before, though.
Yes, when Castle first came out, I think a lot of people ended up going into the little gorge there. I mean, I think a lot of people probably did it on purpose just to see what was going to happen. But
no, what happened to me was I was locked down on the pipe and someone pushed me over.
Oh, now I have done that to people too. It is a tactic. It's legit. It might be annoying, but you can knock people either off the pipe or off of the bridge. It's a really good move to do if you're in something like a Phantom and you can blink back up.
Yeah, people don't like my T-Falcons, so they do it to me all the time.
What's up, AJD? Yeah, unfortunately, no Eddie tonight, but in his place, I have Michael from Android. He's
hello.
Pretty active, at least in the YouTube community. I don't know if he spends much time on like Reddit or Facebook communities, but see him all over the place on the YouTube community. So, and I YouTube and Discord, yeah. And I tried to find an iOS person, but didn't get any takers. So iOS is asked out this time. Well, I'm on iOS, but I don't count.
Yeah, you're the host.
Well, I'm just the dude here. I guess you can call me a host. All right, so what do you guys think in the chat as far as the new map? For those of you that have seen it or tested it out, let me know what you guys think in the chat there. Because I mean, I have my own opinion, my own play style, and you know how I do things, how I evaluate things. So it's always a little bit different than other people. And most of you here in the chat are just regular players, and you know, you guys have a more unique perspective sometimes. A lot of things that I'm not considering, you guys do consider. So Tejas says the new map is awesome. Cran just says factory is like Shenzhen and Death Valley. It's a little bigger than that. I think in all it looked like it was about twice the size of Shenzhen. Anthony said, sorry, he would like to talk shop, but he's in a bad mood and wouldn't say anything nice. Well, you know, as long as you're not crude, feel free to share.
Yeah, it's always good to get stuff out the air.
Another thing that we're still waiting on, which as we're coming up on the next update already with the merger, I had been hopeful that they would make the changes to silver and the economy prior to the update, which they said was possible, that it wasn't necessarily tied to the update itself, but so far I haven't seen it. So I'm guessing it's probably going to be coming with the update. And I've actually been seeing a little more recently where people are not looking forward to the change. And I'm trying to understand why folks are not looking forward to the silver payout change. So I mean, if you guys in chat, you know, are not really for the change, I mean, let me know why, because from my perspective, I think it's going to be beneficial to everybody, especially as I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said switching over to honor, right?
Yes, honor-based payout.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Why?
Because I usually don't get very much honor with my T-Falcon hanger, and that's the only bot I really like using.
So it's going to be, it's probably it's going to affect you more than others, but
it's pretty much the same for me when it comes down to it, because I only get like 300,000 per match. So
right. But I think for most people, and I think the reason they're doing it is they're trying to get people to diversify their hangers a little bit more, which I know you are the exception because you don't want to diversify. Running 5 T-Falcons is very unique in the game. But it's also going to kind of take a hit to some of those guys that are running like 5 leeches in a hanger, because they are going to be getting less silver because they're not going for honor. And that's actually going to get worse for some people, because they did say that they are going to be introducing new ways of getting honor, which I think is going to be great for the majority of players anyway, because then that means you're going to be getting higher payouts of silver.
Like attacking Titans, which you don't currently get paid for.
Oh, you don't get anything for Titans. Killing Titans, attacking Titans, healing Titans, doing damage with Titans. Right now, the Titans are just a money pit. But yeah, they did promise that Titans would go into the equation under the new system, which I think is going to be huge. But people also need to keep in mind with this new change to the honor system, you know, I think well, the combination of the honor system and the shotgun nerf is going to affect a lot of people, because those shotguns are so strong right now that, you know, people can get 4 or 5 million damage in a match using, you know, nothing but coronas. That is not going to be the case anymore. So I think the average damage for most people is probably going to decrease some. And then you are also not getting as much silver for the damage portion of the honor on the new silver system. So I think some of those folks that are relying so heavily on like 5 leeches and all running coronas, they're going to take the biggest hit silver wise. Now that doesn't mean that they're not still going to get silver. They will still definitely get silver if they choose to go strictly for damage, because at least the way the honor system is right now, it actually does pay quite a bit of silver and give you quite a bit of honor because there is no cap on the honor points for doing damage to other robots. But it's still going to definitely decrease for those folks.
Yeah, they might actually put a cap on there, seeing as they're nerfing all the strongest weapons in the game.
Right. Now, Lone said, you heard rumors of an economy change that might include some more discontinued bots. I have not heard anything about that. I really wish they would actually bring the other robots back. I mean, there's no reason not to have golems. I mean, seriously. I mean, especially since they're so weak as it is. I mean, why not just put them back in the game?
They said they were going to revamp Golem, didn't they?
Originally, when they took it out, they said they were going to pull it out and look at reworking it, but then they pretty much just forgot about it. So, which is disappointing because the Golem was a super fun robot, at least in my opinion. You know, when you first start the game, it's the only robot that has one of each weapon type, light, medium, and heavy slot. And it was just unique. It was a good platform if you were picking up a new weapon and you only had one that you could run it and test it out. And it used to be super quick to level it up too. I mean, for the longest time, it was the only robot that I had that was level 12. But unfortunately, they got rid of it, and it makes me a little bit sad that they never brought it back.
Yeah, I'm kind of not in the stream right now. It kind of took away from the connection.
Oh, you were trying. Okay, I get it. That's all right. I will do my best to cover some of the questions then.
So I'm going in blind.
Stan from Pixonic 100% Real, no viruses, asked, Michael, what do you run on your Falcons?
Oh, geez. Well, since I knew about the nerfs, I was looking at them, and it turns out that the Thunder's actually getting a bit of a buff if you look at the numbers. So right now, my T-Falcons, I'm running 3 Thunders, and one of them's having a glory, because nerf or not, it's still one of the better weapons for the Falcon. And the last one is a Calamity.
Why the Calamity?
It was just one of my stronger weapons. The Calamity is actually almost as strong as the Glory. It just does it has a 6-second reload, and it has to lock on. And since most of the bots like to use stealth, not very good against the metagame.
Right. Hey, thanks for that, Ernie. He asked, do I have a video on how to maximize honor points? Not specifically to maximize honor points, but I did put out a couple of guide videos a while back. One of them was explaining honor, how you get honor for the different areas. And then another one was showing a guide to running a balanced hangar. And by balanced, I mean balanced for honor points. So you have, your beacon runner in there to get you the beacon points. You have a healer in there to get you those honor points for healing. You have a tank in there to, basically just help your team, and then two brawling or damage robots of your choice. And that's really the best way to maximize the opportunity to get honor points. Now, there is one kind of downside, and I've tried to mention this to Pixonic before, but it seems like they don't understand or don't want to understand. But they seem to think that honor pretty much gets sent out to everybody in the match for all the different categories, but that's not the case. Most of the categories only award honor for the top 3 spots in the category, and then anybody under that top 3 just doesn't get any honor whatsoever. And I've tried to let them know that they need to fix that. They should scale it, you know. Okay, if they want to keep it at 400 points for the top spot, that's fine, but give honor all the way down to the 6th spot, because if somebody's putting a healer in their lineup but then they're not healing enough for that top 3 spot, then they don't get anything for it, and I think that's wrong. Let's see, I'm trying to keep up here on the
Yeah, several times I've been in the lower end of that with my T-Falcons because it goes for damage only, so it doesn't go for survivability.
No, it doesn't. And I know there's some people I've talked to also that would like to see somehow honor being awarded for people that are pushing beacons, or, you know, defending, especially defending a beacon, because you may not lose the beacon, but you are putting your bot out there. You are basically, in some cases, sacrificing it just to hold that beacon. But, you know, there is no honor being recorded for that, and a lot of people think there should be some way of rewarding people for doing
that. If that's the case, I just set a T-Falcon on a beacon forever. No one would ever get that beacon.
See, Marshall was asking, or saying that if players can upgrade gear easier, it's better for everybody because it allows a larger pool of competitive players. To a degree, I think I would agree with that statement. And I think Pixonic is just going to be very slow in kind of loosening their grip on the economy. I think the first step is going to be with this change to silver. Hopefully most people will see an increase in the silver that's coming in, and hopefully that will equate to them being able to afford to upgrade things a little bit easier. But ultimately it's still kind of on the individual players to use their resources wisely. Hey, what's up, Robin Van Looy? And for those of you in the chat that aren't familiar with him, he is the newest member of the Pixonic Influencer Program. He has a pretty good channel, so you guys can definitely check his channel out. Let me see. Sorry, I'm trying to back read here, make sure I'm not missing too many questions. It's usually a little bit easier when I've got my partner in crime here.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm no Islander.
Oh, it's all good, man. All good. Outmode said that he heard Calamity is the #1 used heavy weapon. That's interesting. I had not heard that, but then again, I don't really focus too much on it. I don't personally run into too many people running Calamity.
I'd say more Glory and Avenger than anything.
Yeah, I think Avenger would probably be the one I would suspect to be the most used, because it is the cheapest to get your hands on, and it's still very viable even at in the top leagues. Pranjit said all robots deserve the same number of module slots. I agree with that 100%. All of them. Even a Cossack should have 3 module slots. I don't know why they would limit it, because you would think then people would spend more resources buying more modules for even robots like a Cossack. But for whatever reason, they decided not to go that route.
Yeah, give my T-Falcon an extra 12% durability.
Inner Tubin asked, is there a universe that Zeniths and Noricums ever become meta? Well, back in the day, they actually kind of were. Actually, when I first started playing War Robots, I remember Adrian at the time. He was one of the first YouTubers I came across on for War Robots, and he used to run his patent Noricum like all the time. And yeah, I mean, it was actually a fairly popular build. But
well, in a universe thing where a robot can clone itself multiple times and everything, then there's a possibility. But
well, you know, I've actually seen an increase recently of Zeniths hitting the field, and I think that is a response to Titans, because right now, especially the Energy Alming, you got to have something outside of its 600-meter range if you want to have a chance to take it out. So
actually, a Molot Leech and everything could easily take down an Alming.
It can, but who wants to
on a stream
put all that on a leech? A leech is a very expensive robot to level up to do that with.
We also got the GI patent and everything with normal mullets.
Yeah, that's true. But you know, anything that you're using pretty much as a specific counter, it's always going to have downsides. So that's something that folks that are looking for counters need to keep in mind, that if it's a robot that is specifically to counter another robot in the game, it's not going to be quite as effective against all the other stuff. So
I don't know, Behemoth, Tempest, and everything is pretty good.
But it's not very mobile, and you only have 2 weapons at a time when you're walking anyway. So, and they're susceptible to Aljuns. There's always a downside, and that's something that a lot of folks that I talk to don't always like to hear. There is no perfect counter for everything.
No, there isn't. That goes for every game. Otherwise, it wouldn't be balanced.
Right. Well, a lot of people would say that War Robots is far from balanced, and I would have to agree with them. It is not a very balanced game right now. Wigan Danny said Redeemer is making a comeback. I have seen quite a few Redeemers, but once again, that's another one of those weapons that unless you had them already and leveled up, man, that's a very pricey weapon to level up.
Yeah, I was going to do one for my T-Falcon, but it was too pricey for me.
And not very effective on a T-Falcon. I did try one, and
it wasn't.
Yeah, it's just the damage output of just one is not that great.
I'm waiting for a weapon to where the damage output for just one is awesome.
Noricum uppercut. Yeah, I remember it wasn't that long ago actually when Adrian was trying to do some videos showing his Noricum uppercut, trying to brawl with Noricums.
Really, what they should have nerfed and everything with the shotguns should have been the Titan weapons.
That's we've covered that on here before. I think it was okay when they buffed the Titan weapons. This, like the second time the Titans got a buff, and they gave the resistance bypass function, whatever it's called, to all of the Titan weapons. I think that was okay, but where they really went overboard was the Titan modules. It just, I don't know, my opinion, absolutely made it far too OP and ridiculous. I mean, you got one robot now that can have up to, what is it, 116% buff to its weapons. That's just ridiculous, just from modules.
Yeah, they sit there and they count each one of the percents separately, so it actually is like way higher than that.
Right, and you have to remember too, there's also the boosters, you've got the the modules themselves, and then like an Ao Ming gives itself a 25% damage boost. It's absurd, and I do believe that in the future they will have no choice but to revisit that choice. The unfortunate thing is that a lot of people are spending real money to upgrade those things right now, when it should have just been addressed immediately.
In a few months and everything, there's going to be a new Titan, so I keep telling everyone, just save your platinum and everything for that new Titan. Right.
New Titan will be coming out around the same time as the next anniversary event, 6.0 update. And
they're supposed to have a new.
They're supposed to what?
They're supposed to have a new mechanic compared to all of the other robots in the game.
It'll be something unique, and that honestly in Pixonic speak means probably OP. So yeah, it wouldn't hurt to save at least 900, maybe 1,000 platinum in case it does turn into one of those must-haves. Obviously, it's going to cost you a lot more than that if you want to level it up, but that is a good starting point to at least to buy one.
Yeah, speaking of damage buffs and everything, I can't wait for them to create a robot where it attaches to another robot to increase their damage or whatever.
Like a reverse leech, almost, ability? Instead of doing damage, it increase. See, that would be kind of a cool idea for, I mean, similar to like a Nightingale, but instead of healing, maybe he puts out like an area effect that increases the damage of your teammates that are in your circle. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hi, Chief.
Hi, Becky.
I'm sorry, don't kick me out.
What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I just wanted to tell you that the folks in your chat are like the best ever. The jokes, the quality content, the response to what you say, they are all just too funny. So I just have to shout out.
Yeah.
And they're just great supporters, and I'm glad they're here for you.
Absolutely. They are a great community, and I appreciate all of them, and I appreciate you coming on here to let them know that. It's it's fun. Every Sunday it's fun. So keep this up, please, because we all rely on it to, help us through this ridiculous gameplay that we seem to be addicted to. Yes, it is a little bit addictive, but I think it's by design.
Yeah, I actually look forward to this.
To the podcast here?
Yeah.
I look forward to doing the podcast. Hey, what's up, 80 Gaming? The podcast is probably the least pressure live stream I do, because like there is no winning, there is no losing. I might piss people off, but it's kind of expected because it's in the name podcast. I share my ideas, my thoughts, you share yours, but it's even. It goes both ways. And I really do appreciate the community that comes out and supports it by sharing their thoughts and ideas and opinions as well. And sometimes I do actually send this to Pixonic just so they know, hey, listen to your community. This isn't coming from me. It's not feedback from me. This is them talking. So.
This format too. Kine gave you a donation too with with my name on it. So
yes.
you know, you don't feel alone when you're getting your butt kicked for the 10th time in a row by, you know, Michael's T-Falcons or whatever. And no, kind and Lone, I'm not taking a drink after that. Thank you. But that's another thing going in the chat. You should check out, Michael. But it's such a good format to just listen and express yourself and all that stuff. Thank you, G.
Yeah, no problem. And yeah, Michael, they started at the beginning of the stream when you joined a game where every time you said T-Falcon, they have to take a drink. So they're probably all drunk right now.
Well, in that case, T-Falcon, 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 T-Falcon.
All right. Yes, and thank you, by the way, Kind, for that. So, next topic. Somebody drop a topic in the chat here. I'm gonna just back read here, make sure I didn't lose anything. Didn't skip over too much anyway. Brand just said 600 platinum on the Android account. Tempted to get the Ao Ming. Already has an Arthur. Be honest, the first Titan that's going to get a nerf is going to be the Ao Ming, so be careful. That's a lot of investment.
Yeah, I would say just save it for the next Titan.
Yeah, in another 2 months' time, you can grind out quite a bit more platinum, at least enough to pick up the next Titan, which will be something completely new, at least they're saying. And I don't expect it to cost much more than an Ao Ming, so I think 900 is about what it's probably going to cost.
Yeah, between 900 and 1,000.
Wacky Whalen asks, who has temporarily replaced Islander? That's Michael. Everybody knows Michael from State Farm. Actually, Michael from Android. He was the volunteer. I asked for volunteers at the start of the podcast. One from iOS, one from Android. He's the only one that showed up. So iOS got asked out, at least until Becky jumped in. She's from iOS. All right, let me scroll back to the bottom here. You hate the Ao Ming? Yeah, there's a lot of people that hate the Ao Mings. They are strong, a little bit too strong. Like, seriously. I'm not one that jumps up and down and screams for a nerf, but as a whole, Pixonic really needs to take a look at the at least what they did with the Titan modules. That's just ridiculous.
Well, the Titans are supposed to be a trump card against all of the robots, so.
Right, but they shouldn't dominate the match from just dropping one of them, and that happens frequently in a match in Champion League. If one person on the other team has a maxed out Ao Ming with maxed out modules, on most maps it can just drop in and they go from losing to absolutely winning no matter what. So very.
Yeah, I believe there shouldn't be a Titan bar. It should be one of the last ones that you used in your, all normal robots should be used before the Titan.
Now that is a good point that you bring up, is the Titan bar. I have heard rumors that they are looking at possibly changing things with the Titan bar, because as it is right now, like, people can legit unlock their Titan within a minute and a half of starting a match.
Oh yeah, I have.
And it's just, that's ridiculous. That should not happen. By design, it was not supposed to happen that way. But we're all gamers. We try and find efficient ways to get what we want, and it's going to happen, but Pixonic needs to adjust it. Especially from like, if you're on the winning team, you know, or if your team is ahead, like on the beacon bar or whatever, you know, you really don't need that Titan to drop in a minute and a half of the match. It's just bad. So, but I have heard that they are looking at that. I can't really say much more than that, but hopefully that does get adjusted at some point here in the near future. I wouldn't mind seeing something like you said, where it has to be your last spot. The only downside to that I would say is then you lose tactics. And I personally prefer to have tactics in gameplay.
The main thing I have against the Titans is the piercing that they have, the resistance piercing.
Well, of course.
It shouldn't be so high. 100%.
You're on a hangar full of T-Falcons. But no, it's, you know, I personally was okay when they gave that ability to all the weapons. Initially, it was only the alpha weapons that had it, and the kid, when he was in his ability, actually gave that to his secondary weapons, or his beta weapons also. But on that, the second buff that they received, they moved that ability to all Titan weapons all the time. So, and I was okay. I was actually okay with that, because I think that really gave them enough of an edge to kind of put them in that higher tier that they needed to be. But once they started boosting the damage up so much with modules, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, now they're practically unstoppable once maxed out.
I wouldn't say unstoppable, but very difficult to counter.
I said practically,
Right.
not fully.
Right.
It takes teamwork to put them down.
When do we think Redeemer is going to get a nerf? Honestly, I don't think they're going to look at Redeemer again for at least another 2 years. You have to remember, Redeemer was recently adjusted within the last year. They kind of slowed down the shooting speed of it a little bit. It's still a really strong weapon.
Yeah, I think it's kind of balanced right now, actually.
Right. I mean, one Redeemer is not OP even maxed out. Two of them can be very difficult to deal with. It puts out a lot of damage, but it takes time. The only thing that really annoyed me with them changing the timing there of the Tyrans and Redeemers was they no longer matched, like, audibly. So if you have like Redeemers and Tyrans on the same robot, the sounds don't match up anymore, and it just doesn't sound as cool as it did before. Hey, Jake from State Farm, 100% real, no viruses. Welcome to the stream. What happened to Stan from Pixonic, 100% real. Defense mitigation is great for leeches, Wacky Wayland said. Yeah, it is definitely a counter to the leeches, and I honestly think that's probably why Pixonic did it. They are very hesitant to directly nerf the leech, I think because it's such a new robot. So that's why we're seeing so many secondary nerfs coming that are going to affect the leech a lot. The next one being the shotgun nerf, mainly.
There should be a module where you can be immune to secondary effects from all weapons.
Well, there is, kind of, already, but not all of the secondary effects. But with the changes to things like the lockdown mechanic that came in, I think it really had a negative impact on people that were running the what's it called? The module, the one that prevented lockdown and suppression, whatever the name is. Somebody's going to say the name in chat, I'm sure. But the effectiveness of running that module, especially once they changed the mechanic of the lockdown machine guns, is really not going to be very effective, because there's not too many robots anymore running resistance. I mean, not resistance, but suppression. There's a few, but not as popular as it once was. And getting locked down is so much less frequent now. And then with the nerf to the shotguns, we're going to see even fewer people running lockdown weapons. So I think they should expand that module out to cover things like the defense mitigation or resistance mitigation, whatever it's called, from like leech weapons, or even trigger it when you get hit with corrosion. You know, make the module useful again.
Yeah, the reason I was wanting immunity to secondary effects is it would be an immunity to resistance piercing as well.
Right.
I would definitely put that on my T-Falcon.
But I mean, it would still only be temporary. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that there should be a module that keeps that up like 100% of the time. But having it trigger like the anti-control, thank you chat, the anti-control module, I think would be a reasonable thing to do.
Yeah, at least let my hangar survive some when the Titans come out. Jeez.
Stan must be allergic to nuts after all. No, Stan likes nuts. Said it himself. Don Jose said, shouldn't the anti-control work for against the leech skill? That's a good question. I guess if it really was anti-control, I don't see why it wouldn't work.
Well, that's not really control, though. All it is just damage reflection.
Well, in how they explained how it works in one of their dev streams, they said that it hacks into the enemy robot computer system and makes it think it's getting the damage that the leech is getting. So that is a control. Now, had they said it was just deflecting, then that would be one thing. But they actually said that it was control.
They're not too smart. Because that makes totally no sense at all. They know nothing of psychology.
Well, I mean, it's like the healing robots. I mean, come on. We're supposed to believe there's like these little micro mini robots that go over and like somehow do all this metal repair of your robot.
Yeah, each one of the things could be like a burst of nanobots that repairs.
But it's still not very realistic.
Well, not right now. It would be very realistic. In the future, you never know. This is all supposed to be sci-fi stuff.
See, Outmode says that anti-control should negate the leech ability. And I would agree, especially because the leech ability does outlast the anti-control, so even if it did trigger the anti-control, you know, it wouldn't be too much. However, I do believe 3 anti-controls maxed out does make you immune, so that would be interesting, to be completely immune to the leech ability. That would be very interesting.
That would only be interesting for those bots and everything that have the 3 module slots, though.
That is correct. That is correct. Who knows, though? Maybe another bot will come out and you will be like, oh, hell yeah, that's a fun robot. Let me get 5 of them. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Have you tried 5 Nightingales yet?
I don't even have one Nightingale. I was trying so hard to get one.
The Nightingale could actually, it's a multifaceted robot. It's an effective beacon runner. It's a great support robot. It can suppress, it can do relatively okay damage, and it heals.
Yeah, it'd be great for the honor system. That's why I was trying so hard to get one.
Jake from State Farm, 100% real, no viruses, trying to get people some healthcare and insurance. It's illegal, but worth it.
Well, with all these OP robots out there, you're going to need health insurance.
5 Phantoms for Michael. That's a lot of weapons he would need to upgrade. So,
yeah, I'm too lazy. No way.
He's only got 1 heavy weapon on all of those.
Yeah, I chose the cheapest weapon too.
See, so you should have a ton of leftover silver, right? You're not spending it on anything else.
Yeah, but that's only for people that actually play a lot. I don't hard to play. I play like 3 or 4 hours a day. That's it.
That's a lot more than the average. Michael Ward said, Pixonic doesn't need physics or any other science. And we all know they don't need math, though. Yeah.
Oh no, they've been time and again. They suck at that.
Their ads for trying to get you to buy things, man. I have no idea who it is on their team that puts those percentages on there, but they are so off. It's comical. Hey, what's up, Droopy? Saw Droopy actually streaming the other day. It was kind of nice to see.
Yeah, they saved the only part of the RNG in the game for their math.
Yeah. Their math is RNG, 100%. Or maybe it's 185%. I don't know. Maybe it's 302%. Shit, I don't know. Lone Spanker says, wait until they limit the number of any bot to 2 per hangar. That would throw a wrench in some things, and a lot of people would actually like to see that happen.
And a lot of people like me would not.
Yeah, I personally didn't really like their response to that question on the dev stream. It didn't seem like a good response when they said, oh, well, there's tactics involved and we don't want to harm that. No, you're absolutely wrong. You want to sell 5 or more of the newest robot to the big spenders. That's why.
Yeah, that's the whole reason. And it's been doing pretty good for them.
Right on, Anthony. Thanks a lot, bud. Thanks for dropping by. Don't lose yourself staring blankly at the wall until the PC improvements come to War Robots. Might be there a while.
Yeah, I'm all out of power cells.
Lonnie says Pixo went from science to science fiction long ago. Yeah, I think when they first started, they did try a little bit to kind of make things more physics-based than realistic, or as realistic as a giant walking, shooting robot could be anyway. Wacky says, let's talk about operations. Well, what do you want to talk about, Wacky? I think there were some definite improvements on this latest operation. I think giving prizes above level 80 to the free track was a good thing. I would like to see them still kind of fill in all those empty spots there, but at least picking up a couple of extra things was a good move. Dropping a full weapon on level 1 of the premium track, I think, was a good change. So you have something to show for the money you just spent. It's just a shame that it was a Halo.
It was a Nerf weapon.
But I think overall, I think this one was a little better, other than the choice in weapons that they included. That was their developers not talking to the marketing and other development team. It just made them look really bad.
Don't worry, on the next operation on the premium track on level 1, they'll give a whole Zenith.
Yeah. Maybe that's their plan, to bring back the shoots and the boa and the golem, is to award them as part of an operations prize. Which, sadly, I bet people would actually be pretty excited to see. What would I change with the operations? Well, specifically, the thing that I would change with the operations is I would scale the requirements based on your league, because it is honor based or somehow connected to the honor system as far as the rate of gain of OXP. So that makes somebody that's in like silver and gold league almost impossible to, no matter how much they grind, to actually get very far on the operation. And I think that's wrong. I think everything, whether it's events, operations, anything that has to do with honor, should scale according to the league, because it scales honor based on your league. So people in gold league earn far less honor than somebody in champion league. So that scaling should happen in every aspect of the game. That is the number one thing that I would change with the operation. And I know some people would disagree and say it's going to promote tanking. Yeah, but there's nothing stopping people from tanking now. You know, they are already promoting tanking by not addressing the battle crates, for example.
Yeah, there's an easy way to prevent tanking. I mean, all they have to do is just do one thing.
What's that?
And that does not allow you to pass that trophy threshold that takes you into another league. Once you hit your league, that's it. You can't go lower.
That's true, but I think that would kind of skew some things a little bit, but I think eventually people would probably get used to a system like that.
Eventually, everyone would be in champion, so.
And yes, by the way, I did, to answer your other part of that question, I did purchase the battle pass this time around. Actually, I purchased it every time. Even if I don't plan on finishing it, it's still the best bang for the buck. I mean, if you get, I think, honestly, up to like level 30, you're getting far more resources than you would, from paying money, that $15 towards anything else in the game. So I think it's definitely worth the cost if you have the money to spend. Obviously, if you don't have the means, then don't do it. I mean, the free track is actually pretty attractive this time around. So
Yeah, I'm getting it on the 28th.
Hey, thanks for that, boss lady. They should give 25 to 50% off premium when we purchase the operations pass. You know, that wouldn't be a bad idea. I would actually like to see more consistent use of some of the discounts or sales that they have for things like the Battle Pass, or actually, I don't know if they. I think they only do a sale on the Battle Pass towards the end of the Battle Pass or the operation. But I would like to see more consistent sales on things like the premium, because, I mean, there's times when I get like an offer for premium for $10 instead of 15. But of course, when I actually need to buy it, it's 15. So I think putting those offers out there a little more frequently would probably sell them more premium players than they're getting now. Because premium,
like a discounted bundle.
Say again.
Like a discounted bundle.
Or yeah, or even a discounted bundle. I think that would be great. You know, pick up a 2 months of premium and the operations pass for $25. I mean, it's not really hurting them any. But I mean, hell, I mean, there's even offers that some people get that's $5 for 30 days of premium. I mean, that's a great deal, because that's how you actually get your silver. I mean, you can grind silver, but it's night and day difference if you have premium. And that's God's honest truth there, because not only is your upgrade times cut in half, but you're doubling your silver in income, no matter what you're doing. Win, lose, it doesn't matter. You're getting 50% more silver. So maybe it's not double, but it's a lot more silver. What's up, Philosophy Trucking? Zarathustra. Thanks for stopping by the stream.
Anyhow, speaking of silver increases and everything, I've actually seen it where an ad at the end of a battle actually like doubles the silver that you get.
Yeah,
and they said it's only supposed to be like 50%, but it's like double.
Yeah, their math is a little off sometimes, but in a case like that, I'm not going to complain about their bad math.
Not either. It's the only time it actually helps.
Mikey Willen asked earlier, what about overall performance instead of league set XP? That I think is just going to be far too complex for a game like this. So I just don't think that would work. Zarathustra in the chat. Yes, he is kind.
Plus, how would you
still not as cool as kind? Sorry, go ahead.
I said, how would you decide who performs better between leagues,
Right. I mean, until they develop more on the honor system and make it a better representation of actual battlefield performance, I don't think they can.
I mean, anyone in any league can sit there and capture beacons.
Which, unfortunately, that is a trend that I have been seeing lately, where people will quickly go and capture a beacon, but then they will leave the beacon and let the Reds capture it so that they can go back and capture it back, instead of defending it, so it doesn't really help your team. But it's still much better than having 3 people go up on the top of castle and none of them getting the top beacon. I actually had that happen on my last stream. And yes, I did shame them live, because that should never happen.
I've had games and everything where everyone goes for mid beacon and everything, and the entire team bots out. And it's like, really? Why not capture the other beacons they're not going, that they left undefended?
Yeah, unfortunately, not everybody plays by the same tactics on the beacon modes, but the most basic of it, get a beacon. It's simple. Get a beacon. It's in the name. Beacon rush. Or domination, I guess. Beacon isn't in the name, but the same principle applies.
Yeah, domination just means dominate them, get the beacon, and then laugh at the fact that they have to go all the way back.
All right, well, I think if there's any last minute questions or comments or anything anybody wants to make, now would probably be a good time to drop them in the chat. I am going to look at wrapping this up here in the next few minutes. But real quick, Michael, thank you for raising the hand and volunteering to jump on the show with me. Really wish I could have got somebody else from iOS, but unfortunately, I guess iOS is just shy. But anyway, thank you very much for jumping on and being part of the show. I know it was a little different and unexpected, but you pulled through. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you for having me. It's an honor.
And we will see if anybody has any last minute comments or questions, and then wrap some things up here. They should give honor for holding beacons. Time on the beacon is counted. That's not a bad idea. Out mode. And the basis for that is already in the game by way of the old King of the Hill. It used to count ticks for actually standing on a beacon. So I think they could probably... Say that again?
I said if they brought that into the honor system and everything, they wouldn't have to bring in King of the Hill.
Right, but with minimal coding adjustments, it's already there. It's in the game. It should be easy for them to actually do something like that. The tough part is how do you quantify attacking a beacon if you don't get it, unless you attack and you fail, you simply just don't get honor for that. I mean, you failed, right? And if you do win, then it's your beacon and you get credit for a beacon grab. So, I don't know. It's an interesting idea, though. Prangia says regular falcons are now more feasible than T-falcons. I have been seeing some more regular falcons lately. I think they both have a very particular skill set. Yeah, the changes to Titans, especially with the modules, definitely hurt the T-falcon some.
Yeah, well, the normal falcon is more for range and everything, because it loses its resistance for all bots that are attacking it. Not just the Titans, but all bots. So if you're going for a T-falcon and everything, you have a better chance of grabbing beacons and everything, and actually helping your team, rather than just sitting back and easily getting munched on.
Pranjit skipped 99.9% of King of the Hill games. Man, I never skipped it. I always hoped for King of the Hill because it was such easy gold. That's how I used to farm gold when I first started playing. Yep. Exit Slim, definitely a very different strategy playing solo than when you're playing with a clan. Definitely. Question from Hooligan Danny. Are the T Falcons Michael uses MK2?
Well, several are, but I do have an MK1 level 10 and MK1 level 8, so.
So almost all MK2. But you got to
My
remember,
highest one is an MK2 level 11, so.
yeah, Falcons are actually fairly inexpensive to actually level up. I mean, aside from only needing one weapon, the Falcon itself is not considered like the high level or high tier of premium for leveling it up.
Well, it's like, what was it, like 55 million to go from 11 to a 12?
Right. I think the high tier premium is 70 million, so it's a little bit cheaper. All right, well, I think that is going to wrap it up, everybody. I thank you all for participating in today's podcast. Once again, Michael, thank you very much for jumping in here and throwing your voice out to YouTube land. Much appreciated.
Yep.
Definitely good to hear from just regular members of the community and getting to actually, no joke, hear your voice. So thank you very much. And definitely for those of you that are still here, if you haven't yet, hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, definitely hit that subscribe button as well. And next week, hopefully, for the next podcast, we will be talking about how the merger is going. Because hopefully by this time next week, we will be merged. I think that would be awesome. But
yeah, if they're not lazy.
I think they'll be on top of it. I'm really hoping that this week, but they did technically say possibly the first week of March. So wait and see, but fingers crossed that it happens this week. But anyway, wrapping it up here. So until the next video, stream, or podcast, whatever you show up for, everybody stay safe and Chief out.
See you, everyone.